Hello and welcome back to the Matharu kitchen. I'm Kat and today we are going to make vegan Penang Laksa. If you're new here, welcome. Here in the Matharu kitchen, we share vegan and vegetarian recipes that we love. In the last video, we shared how to make one of our favorite vegan treats, vegan Taiwanese popcorn mushroom. Do check the video out if you'd like to know how to make it. And today, we are going to share with you another vegan recipe, vegan Penang Laksa. Now, there are many kinds of laksa in Southeast Asia, but Penang Laksa is quite different from the rest. And that's because unlike the other laksas, Penang Laksa doesn't have a coconut base. Penang Laksa is a soupy, tangy, spicy, and very appetizing noodle dish. And we are very excited to share with you a vegan version of it. So let's jump right in. Now let's start with running through the ingredients that we need for today. For the spice paste, we will need shallots, blue ginger or galangal, fresh red chilli, dried red chilli, which you have to soak in hot water first, ginger torch or ginger flower, lemongrass. And for the broth, we will need some laksa leaf, also known as Vietnamese mint, tamarind paste. Usually you'll find tamarind paste that comes with seeds. So if you can find one that is seedless, that'll be better because that's easier. Today I'll be using the seedless tamarind paste. We also need some vegetable stock. And for the toppings, we will need mint, cucumber, lettuce, some ginger flower, tofu ring, and tofu puff. Finally, we'll need some rice noodle to go with. Here I'm using the fresh, thick rice noodle. Alright, let's begin. So let's begin with prepping the spice paste. We'll cut 2 fresh red chilies. Don't need to remove the seeds, we just need to chop them into smaller pieces. 2 cloves of garlic, just roughly chop them into smaller pieces. About 125 grams of small onion or shallots. After you've peeled them, just chop them up into smaller pieces and put it together with the other ingredients. And then next, 2 stalks of lemongrass. So we have to peel off the outer layer, the first layer, remove it, and we'll just use the whiter part of it, the more tender part of the lemongrass. Remove the stub as well. Then cut them up into smaller pieces so it's easier to blend. Then next we need a small piece of blue ginger, about 10 grams. Just peel it off slightly. Then chop it. And we need 15 dried red chilli. I've soaked them beforehand so it's easier to blend. Just take them out. We don't want the water. And here are 2 stalks of ginger flower. I only use the flower bud, so we will not use the rest. So just cut it off. Ginger flower smells really nice. It's got a very distinct aroma, which is why it's one of the key ingredients for this recipe. So we just have to cut it into smaller pieces. We'll use about 1.5 for the paste. We'll keep a small bit aside for garnishing. Now we have all the spices here. Now let's blend them up. It's looking quite dry. We can add a little bit of oil to help with the blending. Alright, so now we have blended all up. We don't need it to be too fine. It just needs to be like a paste, like this. Another distinct feature of Penang Laksa is the texture in the soup. The original recipe uses sardine flakes for the broth, which is why there is some flakiness, flaky texture in the soup. And in this vegan recipe, we achieved that texture with the spices. Now that we're done making the paste, we have to fry them. That's the base of the broth. So in the pot, add in about 3 tablespoons of oil. If you have used a lot of oil to help you with the blending of the spices, then you can use lesser oil at this stage. Then we add in the spices. Smells good. You want to cook it thoroughly until the color darkens a little bit. Make sure to keep stirring it. You don't want your spices to get burnt. It's gonna be a little bit spicy because of the dry chili and the red chili and the many spices that we put in. But it smells really good. I can smell the lemongrass. I can also smell the ginger flower. Okay, now it's browned and it's no longer raw. This is where we want it to be. Now turn down the heat and then we are going to add in our vegetable stock. Let it come to a boil. Now for the vegetable stock, you can use any that you like, whether it's the one in a carton or your homemade vegetable stock or even the stock cube. Now as the broth is coming up to a boil, we'll add in the tamarind paste. If you're using tamarind paste that comes with the seed, then you can put about 4 big tablespoons of tamarind paste into a bowl and then pour some hot water over it. Mix it around and then get the juice out of the paste and then pour that juice into the broth. You can repeat that until you get the acidity that you like. That's a bit more cumbersome, which is why if you can find one without the seed, that would be the best. So here I'm using about 2.5 teaspoons of tamarind paste. If you like it more sour, then obviously you can add more. Alright, now final step for the broth. We're going to take a bunch of the laksa leaf and tie it into a knot. So about a bunch like 8 sprigs or so. And put it into the soup. Just let it sit there and cook with the soup for about 30 minutes to an hour. Now while we wait for the broth to be ready and be yummy, we can prepare the toppings. We'll julienne some cucumbers. Some lettuce. Some fresh mint. Some pineapples. Can cut the pineapple into wedges. some tofu puffs. So I'll cut these into triangles. The ring rolls are optional, but if you can find them, they're very yummy. So I'll just cut them into smaller pieces. And then finally, for the topping, we'll slice some ginger flower. I mean, look at the color, so pretty. Ah, smells so good. I love. Alright, now that we have done prepping the toppings, we'll just have to wait for the broth to be ready and we can cook our rice noodle and then assemble. Okay, now we have been simmering the broth for about 35 minutes or so. You can go on longer if you like. Let's see how is it inside. It smells good. Now at this stage, you can take out the laksa leaf. Okay, we need to now give it a taste and see if we need to add like salt and sugar to balance it out. Oh, so good. I think I'll just need a little bit of salt. Need half a teaspoon of sugar. Okay, the broth is ready. Let's assemble. First step to assemble is to put in the tofu puffs first. And then the ring rolls. Now you pour the Penang Laksa broth over. Wow. Cucumber, pineapple, some fresh mint, and our beautiful ginger flower. Just look at the colors. Oh, smells so good. Okay guys, I'm salivating. Shall we do a taste test? Okay, I'm gonna dig in now. I've been waiting to make this for so long. Look at that. Okay, you have to mix it up a little bit because you want the mint, the ginger flower, all the aromatics to go into the broth. Oh, okay, it's a bit spicy, but very good kick. So good leh. Wow. The noodle, it's like soft and slippery and into my mouth. The soup, the broth, oh, tangy, spicy, so aromatic. You have to taste this yourself to know. Get the ginger flower, get the laksa leaf. Everything in the recipe list is essential. I mean, apart from the toppings, you can change it around, but choose the vegetables that are refreshing because this Penang Laksa is a very refreshing dish to make. Alright, we have come to the end of today's video, Vegan Penang Laksa. You really have to give this a try. And if you try it, do let us know how it turns out. Did you like it? And if you've liked today's video, hit the like button and subscribe to our channel. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye!